Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network. Got another week full of racing for you. Starting off here tonight with the 191 Motorsports, as we are here at the Rock, and we've been here recently. And you all out there in Sierra Nation have seen how rough and bumpy this track can be, and we'll see how these drivers tackle it out here tonight. But all I know is you better be ready, because this is one of those tracks where you're racing the track as much, if not more, than your competitors out there. And you really need to pay attention to what's going on with your car a lot more than maybe what's going on with the competitors and trying to figure it out. So you really need to be careful and maybe telegraph your passes a little bit more than you typically do, and don't go for those shock moves and those crazy maneuvers, because you're going to end up binning it a lot quicker than you realize, and possibly bringing in 2, 3, 4 more cars as well. But we'll see how they handle it out here tonight, as we got 150 laps on tap. Carl Lammer joining the booth with Jimmy Covert. Jimmy, we got a little throwback action here tonight as well. Not just the good old paint schemes, but the good old school paint schemes.
It better be some good old paint schemes, but they're probably fairly new on these cars, as some people have to really get out there and make them up. These cars have been around a little while, so there's a lot of good, fun old paints that some other, I guess you would call them, artists you got put them together when they came out. So looking forward to seeing who's out here right now. Just obviously qualifying underway here at the Rock. Not quite 1 mile, so it's under a mile, Carl, so it's definitely short track racing here, and it's 78 degrees outside with a 119 degree track.
Oh, we got our pre-race reporter here, and it looks like he's all ready to go, so we'll bring him in right now, and that's going to be Douglas Ivey out here tonight, going to be our in-race reporter. Doug, we're ready to see some action out here tonight. But you chose the Rock as your kind of in-race and during the during the race, if there's caution, reporter here. Is it because you're thinking there's going to be a lot of caution? We get to talk to you a lot, or is there a reason you picked the Rock here tonight?
Nah, I mainly picked it. I live about 10 minutes away from the track, and it's also my birthday on Thursday, so just kind of
nice.
A week for me.
Nice. Hoping to celebrate a little early with the 85 there team, and maybe get a good finish here tonight. But gotta ask, how is it handling out there? I know this track can be really rough and bumpy out there, and you really got to kind of pick your marks the right way.
Yeah, it's I kind of wish they would have had the new skin on here, but the with the bumps and making sure you hit your braking just right, it can go one or two ways.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes even if you go ahead, sorry.
I qualified 8th, and that's probably where I'll run most of the day. So,
yeah, I know sometimes even, you take one line in a corner, and then all of a sudden you try something different, and just the angle that you take in there, if that splitter's too low, you can end up, just skipping from the bottom to the top of the track, just bouncing off the splitter. So it's not easy, and you almost have to, in practice, I don't know, how much time you get out there to try different lines, but you definitely need to do some experimentation to try and figure it out, because you're never going to have the same line every lap. But you said you're up here in 10th, so we'll let you get out of here. I know you guys are going to be hopping in the car real soon, so before we let you go and get out there, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I just want to give a shout out to my family and everybody, and the 3 cars that I've designed on here for this race, which is TJ Ivey, Matthew Jordan, and myself. But that's about it.
All right, buddy. Well, certainly looking forward to seeing what you do out there. We'll see if we can. If we get some caution, we'll talk to you during the race, but maybe we can talk to you after the race if you sneak in there in the top 3.
All right, thank you.
That is going to be the driver of the 85 here tonight, Douglas Ivey. Jimmy, we got our starting order for tonight. Why don't you give us that rundown?
Yeah, starting order here tonight. A few cars with no time in, so either they hit the wall trying too hard, or just maybe decided they want to start in the back. And your starting order is going to be tonight. TJ Ivey up front, so number 15 takes the pole here tonight over Zane Bierman, and then Mike Casey in P number 3 with Jason Crispin on the outside and that 4th position. P number 5 is going to be Chris Mackey along with Matthew Jordan, and then P number 7 Justin Spengler with Douglas Ivey that we just spoke to in the 85. In the 8th position, Christopher Kurtz, and the number 51 in 9th. Paul Helms in 10th. Scott Henderson. In the number 72, we will bring up position number 11 with Daniel Pinkston out there in the car again tonight. So I guess the race control on the track here tonight. And then Matthew Radford in 13th in the number 97. Wade Enyart And then number 21, starting in P number 14, shout out to Wade as he stopped by my Twitch channel the other day just to say hello. So appreciate that. Dale Garner Jr. In 15th, and Richard Hartman the third in the number 52 car, starting 16th.
Yeah, nice little 16 car field here. We'll see if we get all 16 out there. I know I think Pinkston sometimes joins the session just so he's in there like that, and he is the race control, so we'll see if he's actually going to take that 22 out onto the track. But either way, we'll have at least 15 out there, and not surprised that it's a little bit smaller field here at the Rock. It's a track that you have to purchase. It's not certainly in the free bundle for iRacing, but it's also one that it can, again, be a little scary for some of these drivers out here. It's a fun track, and once you kind of get the ins and outs of what your car can do and where, then you start understanding it a little bit better. But again, it's not for the faint of heart, and it's going to be a little tough out here for 150 laps. Looks like we're peeling off here, going to take our pace lap and get to it. Looks like we will have 15 cars out there. Daniel Pinkston not out there, at least for the moment. We'll see if he gets out there, but we want to send a shout out to one of the race sponsors here tonight, and that's going to be company with Mike Casey. That is Offinger and Crone Heating and Cooling, as they've been in business since 1953. So been around a little bit, and certainly some of these paint schemes have been around a little bit. I know I do see some of the typical paint schemes that we see out there. Nothing changed for some of them, but got some pretty cool older ones out there. I know the 85 of Douglas Ivey is certainly one of them, and he did mention obviously he painted his, and a couple others. Certainly some cool throwbacks there on the 28. As we look through some of these paint schemes, it looks like Paul Helms just pulled that thing out of the barn. Certainly could use a wash, or I mean, at this point, just sandblast that thing and get that thing back to to snuff. But either way, pace car is going to be in, and we are racing here at the Rock.
There you go, 15 on the loud pedal, and trying to find their way to victory lane this season here. So good start for TJ Ivey as he gets out to the lead as they head down the backstretch.
Yeah, not a good start at all for the 98 of Jason Christmas. It was a little bit of a bottleneck on the start of the race on the outside lane, and he ends up sliding all the way back. He started up there in 4th position. He's now back there to 15th, dead last. So not the start that the 98 I'm sure wanted to see, but side-by-side battling here already. And this is what we've talked about last time we were at the Rock, and we'll talk pretty much every time here unless we get the new scan with the new pavement. But coming out of turn 2, it looks like we have some issues here with Justin Spengler on the backstretch. No caution, but coming out of turn number 2, it can get dicey, and looks like now we will have the caution here, as looks like Spengler just got a little bit loose, got down to the bottom. And let's see if he actually saved this thing or not. Looks like he ended up eventually losing it here, heading into turn number 3. But turn number 2 is kind of the biggest spot for issues, and it can happen right like that, where you get a little bit loose. More often than not, you take the wrong angle, and the bottom line can be faster going through 1 and 2, but coming out of turn 2, if you don't have that thing tucked down close enough, you're going to drift up towards that outside wall very, very quickly, and you're either going to hook it around, like you seen Spengler do right there, from maybe trying to turn it hard and keep it off that wall, or goosing the throttle, spinning that thing around, or you're going to hit the wall, plain and simple. But it's more often than not, you'll start to see drivers realize that kind of taking the higher line there, or maybe diamonding in between 1 and 2 to really get that car angled down towards the bottom. It kind of is akin to Darlington coming out of turn number 2. You really have to kind of have that thing pointed down towards the bottom coming out of 2, so you can make the exit and take it down the backstretch.
Yeah, it's a tricky. It can be tricky. He talked about Doug talked about the bumps here, and we'll take you on board here after a few laps, and we'll give you a sheer view of just how much that car just kind of jumps around. It's kind of unexpected, I guess, at first. And they're definitely, I'm sure, waiting for that new scan to come around and make it live here on iRacing. But I mean, these cars are a little bit older, they're legacy, so they should drive just fine, right, Carl?
Yeah, it's as simple as that. I mean, it's just you get out there. They're nice and new, and they feel nice. But yeah, no, this thing, it doesn't matter what kind of car you're in. I guess it's probably a little bit better than the 87s. I know when we used to bring the 87s here, especially when they first came out, you felt. I mean, you go to a cleanly paved track, and you feel like you're riding in a boat, and that thing is just bouncing back and forth. You come here with that thing, oh. You better take some Dramamine before you get out here on the track, because you're going to get seasick from driving those cars around here. It can be fun, and they can rip around there just like any car, but oof, it is I don't. This isn't the track too tough to tame, but it can be when you get in here with the right car. But looks like we are going to double them up here once again. Jason Chrisman back out there on the track. He's going to catch back up to the field, hopefully, by the time he gets back around here. But it's going to be Zane Bierman, TJ Ivey on the front row, as Ivey's going to be the control car again. Looked like Bierman got maybe a little bit better jump on that initial start there, and really gave TJ a bit of a run. But we'll see TJ Ivey back out there out front, getting the thing back underway here, as it looks like Chrisman's going to be Days of Thunder style here. You're going to be at full speed when you catch up to the field here as the pace car is going to pull on down into the pits, and you see Chrisman just coming into your picture now. Gets the boat up enough, and we are racing again here at Rockingham, as again a little bubble on that outside. You got to worry about getting those tires up to temperature, and it's not easy when you restart with these cold used tires.
No, it's definitely a treat here at this track, and they make their way around here pretty quickly. So pretty quick track, bumpy, and can be treacherous. They're going to be out here for 150 laps so far. Obviously second restart of the race. It is going to be up front with TJ Ivey getting a better jump this time. They weren't waiting on the lights of the flag to jump, Carl, this time. Now it was all under TJ Ivey's control, so able to get a much better start. You can see him already heading up to the high side, looking for those runs off the corners. Michael Casey running a little bit lower line there, trying to close in, using the grip of the newer tires, using that low line. They're usually at an advantage, early on. But once them tires wear down, that line seems to go away just a little bit.
Yeah, Casey did get the pass done on the restart here. He was working on moving to second before the caution came out, but now he is in second, trying to run down TJ Ivey, Zane Bierman in third, Matthew Scruffy Jordan in fourth, Chris Mackey rounding out your top five. Then you got Kurtz, Bradford, Garner, Henderson, and Helms for your top 10. Certainly a little bit better start on this one, but that turn two, it doesn't matter if it's lap 1, lap 5, lap 60. You have to pay attention to every time coming through that turn. It's, coming out onto the front stretch here, onto the tri-oval part of it. Not as difficult. I mean, you can actually probably get more speed than you realize coming out of 3 and 4 to shoot you down that front stretch if you take, again, the right line and you don't hit those bumps the wrong way, because you see just heading into the corner here, riding on board with Jordan, it's just so up and down, up and down, up and down, and
so up and down. Looks
like Wade Enyart may have had a bit of an issue. We're still green out there, but looks like he fell back off the back of the pack here a little bit. But and this is a rough one out here for these drivers, and it's one where, even though it's not a short track, maybe for Jimmy it is, it's a 1 miler, but it's one you definitely gonna have to survive.
It's under a mile. Wow, that is not the camera I want for replays. I want the chopper cam. I want to just kind of see what happened to Wade back here. Come on. Wade. Just
no surprise your turn two.
Yep.
And for him, he was back towards the back of the pack with the 21 there, so the caution not coming out as Wade now takes it into pit lane, maybe to get some repairs done. But we're out here racing. TJ Ivey enjoying about a third of a second lead here, so not really checking out too much on Michael Casey. Zane Bierman here in third, about 0.6 of a second off, and then a bit of a gap getting back here to to Matthew Jordan, as he is in 4th place trying to hold off Matthew Radford at the front. But it's been a little bit better restart on this one, and yeah, like you said, maybe being a little bit more under control by TJ Ivy this time, as has gotten him out in the lead. But how about the run for Radford there? And that's what can happen. I mean, if you bingo the exit of turn number 2, you feel like you're 10, 15 miles an hour faster than everyone else going down that backstretch, and that was a great pass there on the 23.
Yeah, executed in a pretty good manner there, and able to use that right line. It's just being able to hit it every single time and get that run. It's a very close. You get so close to the wall, and the wall kind of scares some people. I know it scares me for sure. As kind of just right behind here at the chase cam with Matthew Jordan right there. You can see running about a half a car length or so off the wall when he does get up there. It might be a lot closer. We'll go ahead, and I believe Radford's running a little bit higher line, so we'll go on board with him here shortly. Maybe we'll just see if he's running, because sometimes people go up there and they're up there the whole time, and then you got some people they're only up there for a corner or two, because it is kind of a tough one, and they don't have much room, but they have enough room. I think Tim Ivy is running pretty close to on that high line, but again, not quite getting all the way up there. Just about a half a car length, but just running that side. So TJ's got some room up there, probably more than he thinks. When you're in the front of the car, we'll go in his cockpit, and you can see how close that wall looks. Out of it, looking out of the front dash there. So, but yeah, just running around here pretty clean at the moment. TJ gaining up there to the back of the pack to start maybe possibly lapping some people. Those look like Richard Hartman's in right now. Pinkston is obviously sitting on the bench watching everybody race here. Yeah, right at the moment.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where you can, you feel like, okay, well, the middle line is where my car feels comfortable right now. And then all of a sudden, 10 laps later, well, now it feels like the high line is the place to be. And then 10 laps later, well, now it's the low line. Out of any track that we go to me at least, it feels like this is a track that it's constantly evolving all the way through your run. And if you can get a full green flag run in, you're probably going to be riding 5-6 different ways throughout the race, and that's if you're out there by yourself. Now all of a sudden you mix in some other cars you're battling, whether it's trying to hold on to a position or trying to gain a position. You're going to find some even brand new lines, as the 28 there almost found the grass in the front stretch. A good job by him to at least save it, but the 51 scraping the wall, and it's a good job getting that thing under control and not just staying in the gas and trying to really drive out of it, because he would have just drove right up into that turn 2 exit. So good job by the 51 there of Christopher Kurtz. But out front, TJ Ivy still holding it down over your points leader here, Michael Casey. And Casey, one of the drivers out here with 2 wins on the season as a 51, experimenting a little bit with some different lines. I don't think that's the line you want to run up there in turns 1. But as I was mentioning, Casey with 2 wins on the season. Zane Bierman all the way back in 8th position, but he's the other one that has 2 wins on the season. 8th position in points, that is. He's 3rd place on the track. Yeah, not to confuse you here. And then Bradley Worley, Jason Chrisman there are 2nd and 3rd in the points, each with a win here on the season. We'll see who can get it done here tonight. See if TJ Ivy can finally break through and claim his first win, as he's kind of needs it. He's had a fast car multiple tracks so far, but finds himself down there in 9th place in the points. Would love to have a good finish here, but he's got the points leader hounding him down right now.
Yeah, he had to slow it up just a little bit for that lap car, make sure they get around cleanly, and that's the best thing to do. Obviously, it's on the fast car's responsibility to get around the slower car, not necessarily just tell them to get out of the way, because that's not how racing works. If the slower driver has the opportunity, they will maybe get out of the way for them. But caution flies, as we have Paul Helms and Jason Chrisman getting into it here. We'll go back and take a look to see what happened. Oh, yep. off the wall. So
Turn 2
Paul
claims
Helms,
another one.
yeah, Paul Helms down into the 98 and the 28.
That was
Wow.
smooth. That was smooth.
As-
Great job by Justin Spengler there, slowing it up just enough to slide down and get out of the way there of the 64 and 98 doing their thing up in the outside. Well, it doesn't look like too much damage in these cars. As we mentioned before, they seem to be a bit of a tank out there. And maybe got the old damage model that doesn't hardly damage at all. But it's going to bring us under a caution here. I'm sure we'll see quite a few drivers taking the pit lane here as TJ Ivy going to lead him around here. We'll see if he is going to lead him down into pit road. Indeed, he's going to drop that 15 down and drag probably everyone else down into the pits that's on the lead lap. And we'll have our first chance at a caution pit stop here. And I'm sure these drivers don't mind at all because pit road here is not an easy one. It's kind of a quick entry as you're coming out of turn number 4, and you really have to angle yourself down there. But if you got anybody around you, you really want to kind of get down onto that apron in between 3 and 4. You're going to sacrifice some time and maybe some track position, but it's a heck of a lot safer than trying to make that last minute decision to get down into pit road. But I'm sure we're going to see probably 4 tires and fuel on this one. Any chance you get to get some new tires on these cars here, especially at Rockingham, you kind of want to take it, and that's exactly what the case is here. As TJ Ivy going to lead him off, Michael Casey in second. Looks like Radford going to come out in third, Zane Bierman and Matthew Jordan for your top 5.
There's a little bit of shuffling around there. Obviously, Matthew Radford jumping on a few spots, coming out in third place. Mike Casey is still in second, so definitely running some decent laps there. Who's that? Number 31, Dale Gardner Jr. again. Yep. Old school Mountain Dew car.
Do you consider that a throwback? We got a little Dale Jr. action there. Is that old school enough for you, Jimmy?
Not really. That was like after I stopped racing or stopped watching NASCAR like full time. So yeah, we gotta go back to like 95 and at least 95.
So whenever these guys want to have these throwback races, we got to give them a date range. It's got to be pre 95 to make Jimmy happy out there.
Pre 95.
Well, either way, it looks like we're going to have another caution lap here, get everything sorted out and checked out here as we'll make sure everybody is in the correct position to get this thing back going. But it's going to be TJ Ivy, Michael Casey, Matthew Radford, I was going to say, yeah, Matthew Radford in second, I believe. Yeah, he's just hanging back there a little bit. So TJ Ivy, Matthew Radford, Michael Casey, Matthew Jordan, Zane Bierman for your top 5, Douglas Ivy, Chris Mackey, Justin Spengler, Scott Anderson, and Jason Chrisman for your top 10 as we'll get the 1 to green this time by, and then we'll get these boys back at it next time by. And want to send a shout out to the season sponsors, that being One Vision, EMS and Transports, and Kim's Cups and more for everything they do for the series. And once again, a shout out to the race sponsor here tonight, Offinger and Krone Heating and Cooling.
Yeah, there could have been. There's a ton. Well, obviously there's tons of teams and stuff out there, but I would have liked to see like a good old Maxwell House, Folgers.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, stuff. You know, things like that.
I'll settle for a Valvoline. I'll settle for a Valvoline. Yeah, you got to have the old Valvoline number 6 up. Well, maybe not number 6, depending on what car number you are. But yeah, you got to have a little bit of that out there. Or the Kellogg's is always a go-to.
Kellogg's. Yep. Sunoco. Purex.
Yep. Kodak. I'll take a Kodak one out there. Yep.
Right.
But either way, we're going to get this thing back underway. It's in control here by TJ Ivy on the restart. Hoping to get the jump here on everyone, including Michael Casey. He does, and a little bobble there from Casey. He gets it going straight. Zayden Bierman, not so much. Takes him a little bit more to get that thing under control. He's going to give up a couple positions here as now the 9 of Mackey moves into 4th place. Bierman going to slide back to 5th. He's going to have to do some work to get back up there.
Yeah, just a little slide, in new tires, new tires, foolish fuel. Or fresh fuel, I should say, top them off. So, but didn't slide back too bad. Has plenty of time to kind of get back into the groove and plenty of racing still here. We're only on lap 32 of 150. TJ Ivy is out front still over Mike Casey, with Matthew Bradford currently in heat number 3, up 10 spots. So they've made a lot of positions here so far. Chris Mackey in 4th, up a spot. Then Zane Bierman following a few. Scruffy is in 6th, along with Justice Spengler's in 7th, still maintaining position. Douglas Ivy said he's going to run P8 all night long, so I mean he's still there, holding strong to his words. Up, he's in 7th.
He's making moves. He just put up to 7th, so we got to keep an eye on Alcacas number 85. He's getting a little froggy out there. It looked like Spengler had a little bit of an issue coming out of turn 2 there, and just kind of got down to the inside line, gave it easy to the 85. Now he's going back to work on him, trying to take his spot back. But good restart here again from the drivers here at 191 Motorsports, as we are through the first 30 plus laps here. And I mean, once you get to green flag racing, these laps do tick by pretty quickly here. Sub 25-second lap times is it's a fast track. I know it's bumpy and it can be a little bit rough, and it looks like maybe the 51 having some issues coming into the pits.
Black flag. Flag on that 51.
Yeah, that's not how you want to spend the night here. Coming in, probably gonna have to take a fast repair, as these drivers do have 2 fast repairs to use for the race, as well as 5 sets of tires. But we got some tires going to work here, and that's the tires of the 6 of Michael Casey, all over the backside here of the 15 of Ivy, looking to get around and try and chase his 3rd win on the season. But Ivy's not going to make it easy on him, and this is a track where if you're the leader, or if you're the car in front, it can be a little easier to defend, because you can take that middle lane, really make that car behind you work hard and use those tires on the bottom, and it can really burn up those tires to the point where they may not have the tires to go after you as much. Now, I'll say all that, and we'll probably see Michael Casey still get the pass on the inside, but that's ultimately what can happen. And what it's doing right now is it's dragging Matthew Radford up into this conversation here a little bit from 3rd place. It's trying to get that 97 back up there. It's kind of a bit of a breakaway here for the top 3. Zane Bierman about a second and a half back after that rough start, but he's hanging back there in 4th place right now. Matthew Scruffy Jordan in there for your top 5.
Yeah, Scruffy looking to get a good finish here. He's currently sitting in P number 5, so in the number 23 car. So different paint scheme on that machine here tonight, with the number 23 Kmart in wins.
Very nice little throwback on that. So I'll accept that. I'll take that one for sure.
I mean, we don't even have any Kmarts in the area anymore. They got rid of the last one.
Yep, I think the last one that was around here is now like a Planet Fitness or something like that, or some kind of fitness place. But
ours became some school board building.
My first job ever was at a Kmart.
Oh,
so
wow.
definitely, shout out to Kmart's out there, no longer around, along with Sears, kind of the same thing. I mean, there's so many stores that we, at least up here, we grew up with. I mean,
yep.
Sports Authority, not here anymore. J.C. Penney. A lot of the Kohl's around in the area seem to be struggling. We lost a Kohl's that was close by, but looks like we lost some more. And how about an incident between our top 2? Looks like TJ Ivy and Michael Casey getting together. We'll take a look and see what happened here. And I think no surprise coming out of turn number 2. Oh, there we go. I'll take it back here one more time and take a look. But coming out of turn 2 onto the backstretch. And we'll see if it was the 15 getting in the wall, or maybe getting a little help from that 6 on the inside. They're coming out of the turn, and the 6 drifts up, gets into the rear quarter of the 15, and it'll send them shooting both down to the inside. And it looks like, the 6 where they wanted to are not going to block the 15 from getting to the wall. So maybe Ivy at least a little bit happy on that side, but can't be happy that it cost him the lead here, as both these drivers are going to have to lick their wounds and try and get back out at it here, and maybe even some fast repairs. You see the 6 is in the pit lane, as is the 15. So it's going to hand the lead over to the 97 of Matthew Radford, the one that was chasing them for quite some time.
New tires going up on the 6. The 15 in and out here, Carl.
Just a fast repair in and out. Maybe topping off on fuel as well. But Casey thinking that he's going to want to use another set of tires here. And I mean, again, they have 5 sets of tires, so not necessarily a bad thing. Looks like maybe saving a fast repair. Looks like the front end is still a little banged in there. So opting for the exact opposite of the 15. He's getting tires, but not repairs. Or at least trying to let the crew bang on that car to get that thing fixed instead of using one of the fast repairs. But going to be under our third caution here of the night. And when we get a chance, we'll try and bring in Doug Ivy if I can find out. Looks like we're, fortunately, by the time we get everything sorted out here, it's quickly going to go back to green, and I don't want to bring him in. Well, I guess now we will. Maybe the race control heard us and wants to give us an extra lap here to talk to Douglas Ivy. So
lights are on.
We will we'll bring in the driver of the 85 since we got an extra lap here of caution. And Douglas, I know it's early, but you're not just in 8th place anymore. You're up there in the top 5, buddy. So how's the race been going for you so far?
Going all right. Slapped the wall a couple times, but hasn't done enough damage for anything. Just kind of maintaining, not wanting to put myself or any other cars in positions to cause anything. So
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that you hit the wall coming out of turn 2.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's a magnet out there out of turn 2. It's such a tough quarter, whether it's just goosing the throttle a little bit too much or just pushing straight up to that wall. But I mean, so far so good. Like you said, you just got to keep that thing clean. I know you guys got 2 fast repairs. You don't want to use them, especially this early in the race. But I mean, a quarter of the way through the race, it's not too bad for you so far.
I kind of lost it. I think it was like second or first or second lap coming off of 2, and ever since then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to kind of do what I can and take it a little easy. So we'll see if it helps me later on, but hopefully we can keep it green from here on out.
Yeah, just keep it smooth and steady there on that the number 85. We'll see if we can talk to you again at some point. And like I said, maybe we'll get you up here on the podium and just keep that thing clean. And you never know. These drivers are getting a little racy here as it starts going.
Yeah, they are. I'm just waiting to see if somebody else makes a mistake. So.
All right, buddy, we'll throw you back up there. Good luck out there.
All right, thank you.
That is the driver here of the 85, Douglas Ivy, as we're going to get this thing back underway. Zane Bierman again going to be on the outside in second place, but this time it's going to be the 97 of Matthew Radford. That is your control car for the restart. Previous leaders, the 15 of TJ Ivy, now back there in 8th position. And Michael Casey towards the back, a bit of a bobble there from the 97. It's going to give Zane Bierman a chance to maybe get the lead here, but the 97 gets it back under control side by side through 1 and 2 down the backstretch. Bierman a slight advantage heading into turns 3. How bold will the 97 be? Not enough. Zane Bierman to the front.
Yeah, fresh start there by the 97. Got that wheel spin. Everybody's starting off in 1, and when they, want to go, they push that gas pedal to the floorboards, and that won't just spins the tires. So that's what happened there. But the 97 able to collect that. 23 got to give it to Scruffy for checking up and not getting involved in somebody having a mistake. But we're gonna have another caution here, lap number 48, as JC Chris was involved in this one. See what happened.
I'm a guess. Turn number 2. Yeah, turn number 2 claiming another victim here as 98 gets a little bit loose, had to try and chase it down the inside, and then hard impact. Tank or not, that thing just ripped apart once it got to the inside there. Luckily for Wade Enyart there, he slides by on the high side before that car slides up into him, but that is definitely need a fast repair on that thing if he can limp it back to the pits.
Yeah, definitely gonna need it in there. Gonna see some drivers coming down in the pits for some tires. Does look like Scruffy is gonna head down in not a bad time to do it here, as we're at the lap 49. So, and with that, I'm gonna take 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, and another caution here as we are coming up on a third distance here of the race. Again, 150 laps here, just coming up to lap number 50 next time by. And still got plenty of racing to go, still got 100 laps to go. But I want to thank everyone out there in Sierra Nation for tuning in here tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Give Jimmy those thumbs up. He likes so much. But again, it doesn't cost you anything to like, doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. And it gives these drivers here and 191 Motorsports a chance to be a little bit higher up on that YouTube algorithm for anytime they search for Iracing, for Rockingham, for anything like that, any kind of the keywords. If it has a lot of thumbs up, it'll just show up a little bit higher and a better chance for outsiders to kind of peek in and see how these drivers are doing out here. But we know everyone in Sierra Nation loves just about everything we put on, so we appreciate you tuning in no matter when and where you do. And we know we have a lot of drivers that are in other leagues on other nights that like to check in as well. So we appreciate everyone out there. But we're gonna get this thing back underway here, as it's gonna be Zane Bierman getting this thing back under green. This is I think it's the first time he's been on the front row that he's finally in the control car. He started in second, had a couple restarts in second. The last one he restarted in second and took advantage of Matthew Radford not having a good start. Now he has a chance to finally control this restart and get this thing underway, but can he get the power down? These drivers have been out there now for about 23 laps since their last pit stop. 4 tires. TJ Ivey has made his way back up into 4th position, so he's got that 15 moving back there in 8th position. Mike Casey trying to move his way up, but we'll come out of turn number 4. Pace car will turn to the left here one more time and head back toward the restart zone. Zane Bierman back on the loud pedal, and little bobble from both the 5 and the 97, but once again the outside line is going to prevail, and the 97 Radford back to the front.
Yeah, that outside line really hooking up there from the get-go, and it might be just that part of the track, but if not, it's just been the luck of the outside fabric. So getting good in there right now, getting out the lead. You've seen Matthew Radford, obviously he's come up through the field, Carl. He's up 12 spots, so starting back towards the later half of the field here tonight, as we have 15 drivers out there running around. This is a good sized field, especially for drivers that are really kind of getting in their groove here at iRacing and learning and picking up, and it's enough to give you some competition and enough to kind of get it spread out and be able to do your own thing and learn.
Yeah, it's to the point now that I want to say it's probably 3 out of 4 times now we've seen the outside line get a better start. I mean, at this point, do you have to consider restarting on the outside if you're the leader? I mean, it clearly seems like it's just maybe the banking is a little bit easier up there, or maybe it's just, I don't know what it is. It seems like the outside's getting a better run, but now to the outside for the lead, the 5 trying to go to work here on Matthew Radford. Not going to happen that time by. It's going to allow TJ Ivey to close in here a little bit. Dives down to the inside. What a move by the 15. Side by side through the corner. Michael Casey now trying to get up here in the mix. Casey, remember, did not get the damage repaired, but he did get some new tires. So he's trying to get up here and utilize them as quick as possible. Now getting right behind the 15 here on the backstretch.
Yeah, giving the 15 a little bit of room, as I think he got flagged for causing that one caution. That's one thing about having a live steward. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be the points leader, you could be the league leader or owner, admin. It doesn't matter. When the steward says you're going to the end of the pack, you go to the end of the pack. That's just the way it is. And you gotta be humble and just accept. If you were at fault, you're at fault. And if you weren't, you can obviously discuss that after the race. But just kind of go what the steward says, and you can fight those battles along the way. But Mike Casey fast enough to come from the back and work their way and do pit stops and whatnot to get back up there. So Just have to fight through the battlefield, as they call it, that mid-pack back there. Right now, we got a lot of battling going on here up front, obviously, but we can't leave the guys out in the back either. We got to move back just a little bit here, being led by Matthew Jordan there in Pete, number 8, and then you have Douglas Ivy in 9. So these drivers here running nose and tail at the moment, but maybe looking to get these drivers hot and heavy at times as they'll go to a corner and all of a sudden they hit that invisible mark, and the car shoots out like a cannon, and you can see like 51 coming down, making a move there on who was that? 31? Yeah, 31 Garner. I'm trying to make it fast.
Yeah, I think we need to let it fire on there. Douglas Ivy. He is a position back from where he said he was going to be all night. He's no longer in 8th. He's in 9th. I think this is unacceptable at this point in the race. But yeah, a little rub of the wall there for Dale Garner Jr. Going to lose a couple positions here, as now he's on the outside of the 64 there. Paul Helms had to take a look at my relative here because you can't really see the number on the car. It's a little too rusty as a 5 into the wall. The 15 got close as we got a gaggle chasing the 97 right now. We got 4 cars under a blanket. The 5 of Bierman, 98 of Chrisman, 15 of TJ Ivy, and then the 6 of Michael Casey, all trying to get up there and get in the mix. The 98, can you tell he's got some new tires and trying to put them things to use? He is trying to get to the front here quickly, but having some trouble getting around that 5 and complete the pass as a 6 and the 15. Kind of the same situation there, but not a 5. Oh man, TJ Ivy not getting any help from the other drivers out here tonight. Gets taken out on this one. Heck of a move there by the 9. Might need to take a look at this replay on board with the 9 and see how he got around that incident there. That was close.
What the heck, the camera? Not too many cameras, man. Cockpit. There it is.
This is coming out of turn number 4 for Chris Mackey, hopping on board, and you see the action happening in front of him. And then all of a sudden the 5 starts sliding down the track, and a great last-second decision. Luckily for him, no other cars right behind him to get to the outside and cause any more damage. Is a great move there. Gets the 9 around and safe. Will bring us under another caution. This one, the 5 getting down into the 15. Looks like Chrisman decided to stay out there, as he's going to be our new leader. The 97 into the pits, the 15 down into the pits. And now there's a situation here where it looks like Michael Casey's staying out as well. Remember, he took tires on his last pit stop there on lap number 43. Didn't take the fast repair. Well, it looks like he didn't take the fast repair first, but did he come back in maybe? He might have came in that second time, and yeah, because that car looks like it's all cleaned up now, I believe. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can see it. So he came back in and took that fast repair. So he does have a completely clean car, but now he's maybe off on strategy here a little bit, because again, these drivers only have 5 sets of tires, and now some of these cars coming in this time will have some better tires to try and work their way through the field. But quite a few cars staying out here as the top 5 right now stay out on the track. Jason Chrisman, Michael Casey, Justin Spengler, Chris Mackey, and Scott Henderson electing to stay out. Matthew Radford leads the crew back onto the track. Douglas Ivy up to 7th. So picking up a couple spots there, going with a different strategy there on the 85. We'll see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, and I kind of like, I know they're at a point now. I actually like when the field kind of gets off strategy from each other, because then now you don't know who's going to do what. How well are they using how hard are they using their tires? How much are they abusing them? How much fuel are they saving? So there's a lot of things kind of going on, and now something's going to happen somewhere, and it could mean that somebody that you think is going to wins this race.
Well, what's nice is when stuff like this happens and then it goes green the rest of the way, because then you get some wild strategies playing out, because you got some guys now that have some fresher tires by about 20 laps or so, 15-20 laps compared to some of the other drivers out there. But then you know, they're maybe not going to want to take tires that next time in, where all those other cars that, you know, they're beating them down are going to have those fresh tires and just kind of starts yo-yoing back and forth, and you don't know who's going to have the right strategy at the right time. But we have yet to see any kind of green flag pit stops here. Hopefully they can get a nice little green flag run in here, but turn 2 has not been kind. This time it was actually turn 4 coming onto the front stretch that caught the 5 out, but the 98 of Chrisman is back on the loud pedal. And again, the leader chose the inside. This time a better restart here, as he's going to get the jump on the 6, but now Casey sends it in on the high side, trying to claim the exit at turn 2. He's going to do so. They'll be side by side down the backstretch.
Good job there by Chrisman, not floating out and getting into the 6 as the 6 had that run.
Onto the front stretch, and this is the first time we'll see the 6 out front, and that's not what the rest of the field wants to see. TJ Ivy now working his way up through the field. Those new tires really paying dividends to the 15. I think if you're TJ Ivy, you want to do whatever you got to do to get to the front and just get away from everybody else, because that's exactly what can happen. And I'm not sure if, I think the 98 ended up sliding back up into the 15, and man, this is unfortunately why TJ Ivy is down in 9th place in the points. He's had fast cars almost every week, and just one thing or another, this one maybe a little closed by him, gets into the back of the 98, spins him out, and I think he slowed up to try and let the 98 get back up in front of him, but yeah, it looks like that was the case, and a pretty good job there by Chrisman getting that thing woed up. But then end up coming back down into the 98. So taken out a couple times there by TJ Ivy, and they're both going to go towards the back of the pack.
Tough break for the 15 and 98. We'll reset this and get back underway after this caution.
Yeah, we'll see if we got any takers to kind of shift up that strategy here one more time, as we're close to the halfway point at this time. And once again, I want to send a shout out to our sponsors for the season, Kim's Cups and More, and One Vision EMS and Transports. And then for our race sponsor here tonight, Offinger and Krone Heating and Cooling, as they have provided residents of New Albany, Indiana, and surrounding communities with HVAC repairs, installation, and service since 1953. So if you're looking for any kind of heating and cooling, and I know with the way the temperatures have been around here, at least lately, Jimmy, I know it's maybe not Florida weather like you down there, but up here in PA, it's been too damn hot a lot lately, and got
when
to
you guys say
spend
too
the day.
damn hot, I'm just like, it's a normal day.
yeah, exactly. It's a spring day for you down there, but yeah, it was I think mid-90s yesterday. I got to enjoy the day at Citizens Bank Park, watching the Savannah Bananas with my son and some friends, and it was quite an experience. And it was one where I didn't want to like it as much as I did. You know, just being a baseball purist. You know, I didn't want it to be as entertaining, but I'll be damned if it just wasn't constantly something going on. And even to the point where they had a hot dog eating contest in the middle of the game, and I think the 5th or 6th inning, with two of the male cheerleaders, bigger male cheerleaders. We'll just keep it at that. So it was 2 against 1, but the one they were going against was none other than Joey Chestnut. So Joey Chestnut ended up taking them down. But it wasn't in between innings. It was in the middle of an inning. So they were doing the hot dog eating contest while they were playing the game in right field. So it's pretty insane, some of the stuff that they do. And if you have a chance, definitely, if they're coming by you, put your name in the hat. You gotta win a lottery for a chance to even get tickets to the games, because they sell out so quickly. But back to the racing action here, as Michael Casey chose the inside lane. Maybe a little bit better start there this time from our inside driver, as the 97 tries to stick with him. This back here, battle for third. Chris Mackey takes it on the outside, as Spengler having some issues coming off of turn number 2 again. And there's some more cars on different strategies here, different tires. And it looks like the 85 is going to get to the inside of the 23. Yes, the 23 there, as they're battling for 7th position as well.
battles all over the place, and obviously the cautions really keep people together. And we tend to, obviously cautions can breed cautions, but these drivers are really not, if anything, they're just maybe overdriving turn 2 a little bit. And again, there's not really too much like major contact between drivers. I mean, it happens, it's racing, and it's hard to tell virtually where the front end of that car is or the right side of the car is, for 100% certainty. But doing a good job out here, I think, overall. Right now, we are on lap 73 of 150. It is Matthew Radford out front over Mike Casey.
I want to thank everybody out there tuning in, Sierra Nation, and love to see it every week. I know this is one of our heavy hitters when it comes to to the chat just blowing up out there, and I love to see all the chat out there. And definitely, me and my friend who were not exactly small guys, we're chuckling at some of the size of the male cheerleaders out there, and even some of the players out there weren't exactly shall we say fit, and it gave us some hope that there's still maybe some sports careers in our future. But nonetheless, I don't think the Bananas will be calling us for our athletic abilities anytime soon. I don't know about you out there, Louise, but it's hopefully going to be some good racing here to the end as we're back underway here again. Rockingham certainly claiming some victims here and getting a little racy. It's what can happen, unfortunately, when you get some of these races that have so many cautions, get everybody up together. There's more of a chance of some incidental contact and some guys getting together because everybody's so close together. But looks like Wirtz having some issues here, gets into the 31. A great save there by the 31. And I think Kurtz maybe bringing it down into pit road. Not sure if he's calling it a night or just getting some more repairs on that 51. But out front, we got a new leader as Matthew Radford has made the move around Michael Casey. We'll maybe try and take a look back and see how that pass happened. But it is, once again, a new leader out front here. Radford, Casey, Bierman, Jordan, and TJ Ivey for your top 5. Yeah, I'm trying to look through myself because I missed it. I just happened to look up there. There it is, a great run off of turn number 2, and you see a little bob, a little slide sideways for the 6. Opens up the door on the outside. Really, the outside is kind of where you want to do your passing here. If you can get a good run, if you can kind of hold off until you get to the corner and shoot to the outside of somebody, more often than not, you're going to make that pass on the outside. You can really hold your momentum and really set you up for better exits if you can claim that outside. And certainly, it's working out for Matthew Radford right now. He is checking out, and Matthew Casey is starting to drop here a little bit. He is now back to third as Zane Bierman also gets around him. And TJ Ivey looking to make his way up through the field for what seems to be the umpteenth time at this point. He is currently in 4th place, trying to catch back up to the 6 of Casey. I think he's been involved in maybe all but 2 cautions here tonight, unfortunately, but that 15's cleaned up again. He's got some fresh tires on it, trying to make his way to the front.
Well, I mean, plenty of parts down there in the 15's pit stall, being a proud sponsor of Easy Delco.
Matthew Jordan not too far behind him, rounds out your top 5. Jason Chrisman involved in that last incident, back there in 6th position. Chris Mackey, Paul Helms, Doug Ivey, and Dale Garner Jr. for your top 10. Looks like Justin Spengler in the pits. Not sure what happened with the 28, but he is going to get back out there. Wade Enier back there in 12th. Scott Henderson still back out there in 13th. Christopher Kurtz still in the pits, maybe calling it a night. Looks like Richard Hartman already calling it a night as well. They'll be 14th and 15th. And then your race control, Daniel Pinkston up there in the booth calling this thing, calling the shots and dealing out the penalties as needed. But Matthew Radford in the lead, and by a good margin, 2.6 seconds out front.
I've got to go back to Paul Helms. Number 7, for your closest battle was Chris Mack.
Ivy and Casey going back at it here. And now this time it's going to be Ivy to the inside. And not sure if there's some issues here for the 6 of Casey or what the case is, but it seems like he's kind of falling back pretty quickly. Or maybe he's just kind of keeping that car under control. Maybe he's trying to save the car a little bit. Maybe he's trying to save a little fuel. Not sure what the case is, but we're here on lap number 84 right now, so it's clicking away. And I think what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and crank all these drivers up while we have a little green flag run. I'm sure it'll. I'm sure just saying that I should probably knock on wood, but either way, we'll crank it up and give everyone out there in Sierra Nation a little love to hear it.
Love to hear it.
sights and sounds and a comp caution while we're going there, but we are back to racing, and Matthew Radford is out front over Zane Bierman. Right now they're heading into turn number 2, down, getting ready to go down the backstretch. Ooh, see Radford, rear end comes sliding out just a little bit. Bierman able to take advantage, get to that outside here. But here comes the 6 of Michael Casey down in turn number 3 and the 4, coming around that kind of odd-shaped front stretch there, and it's definitely a unique one. It's like a mini quad oval, Carl.
Yeah, I mean it's a tri-oval. It's got 3 corners, but it's kind of funky how it is. I mean it's almost kind of like a reverse Richmond when it comes to where the start-finish line is, because it's or even kind of like a Phoenix to that point, because it's. I agree. It's almost got one quick little corner out of turn number 4, and then you definitely have the tri-oval right there by the start-finish line. But yeah, it's kind of funky how it's laid out, and you see it on the track map how just it's like a straightaway and then a quick little turn and then a brief little straightaway, almost shorter than even the Indianapolis little short shoots in between the turns before you head into turn number 1 there. But after the bobble, 97's lost a couple spots, and he's back now to 3rd. Zane Bierman in the lead. Michael Casey, Matthew Radford, TJ Ivey, Jason Chrisman for your top 5. Matthew Jordan, Paul Helms, Chris Mackey, Justice Spengler, and Douglas Ivey now in the top 10 for all the Christopher Kurtz fans. You see the 51 is back out there. Took him about 2.5 minutes in pit lane to get that thing all repaired up and back out underway, but he's got the 51 out there. Unfortunately, quite a few laps down right now. I believe he's 10 laps down.
Yep.
To the field, but
he's got a meatball again.
Yeah, of course. Well,
he went up there and he scraped that outside wall. And sometimes you can go out there and just touch it and nothing happens, and then other times you can touch it and give you a meatball. So 51's gonna have to come back in and get that fixed. Hopefully, maybe decide not to take a fast repair, and maybe he still has one remaining. We'll see what happens with the 51 as having a rough time here at Rockingham. But right now, Zane Bierman in number 5 finds himself out front here as we're over 100 laps into this race. Still got 48 laps remaining here as he leads the way over Michael Casey in the 6 and the 97 of Matthew Radford. And TJ Ivey has found like about 90% of the cautions here tonight. Found his way back up in the P number 4. So looking to get that 15 back to the front and hopefully elude anything that may happen here this night. 98 back up there in P number 5. Matthews, Scruffy Jordan still holding strong in P number 6 in the 23. Paul Helms up 3 spots. Carl, I didn't know what car that was until I got looking a little bit closer. That's the Coors Light car.
It is. It seems like it's been in the barn since probably Sterling Marlin drove that thing. It's been.
That's why it looks like that. Talk about old school.
Been in the barn for quite some time.
Kind of put the antique in the can out here. So the Coors Light car is running strong back there with Paul Helms, number 64, currently sitting in 7th spot, up 3 spots. With Matthew Radford being up in 3rd, up 10 spots, your next biggest mover is going to be the number 31 of Dale Garner Jr., sitting in currently in P number 11 in the old Mountain Dew National Guard car. I guess if we're going to call a throwback, I guess Junior don't drive anymore.
Are you going to bend, Jimmy?
Junior don't drive no more. So, where's the Jimmy Johnson paints?
Getting back to Paul Helms' car there, the 64. We joke about saying that it just came out the barn and it looks all rusted and stuff like that, but it's not like that's actually the case. I mean, that's the the Coors Light paint scheme, and then somebody took time to make it look like it's all beat up and all rusty and everything. Like everything that's done to that paint scheme had to have been done, and it's still it's cool to even just have those little features like that you can do. I mean, again, I've said it how many times? I'll say it again. I can't paint a car.
That is
So-
that is one of the hardest things to do. I think is, and I don't know how to do that. I mean, I can paint some cars and I can do some spec mapping, but yeah, I don't quite have that knowledge of detail to be able to do that to a car. It's very cool. So hats off to somebody that has the time and the opportunity to figured it out, or whether it's done, you know, by Paul himself, or I know Doug said he's painted a bunch of cars, but yeah, that's time consuming, it looks like. To me. Somebody break out the hammers.
Yeah, that's like I said, the sandblast that thing or do something. But you look here at the battle between the 9 and 28, and Mackey going to get the better of Spengler, moving himself up into 8th position here. Out front, it is Michael Casey in the lead. Zane Bierman losing that spot a couple laps ago. Looks like on lap number 103 is when the battle started between Michael Casey and Zane Bierman. Casey eventually getting the pass completed on lap number 104, takes over the lead and trying to check out here. We'll take a look at the battle here once again. The 5 into the wall a little bit, opens the door on the exit on the front stretch, and they went back and forth a little bit because Bierman had the outside, and that's typically, you know, the better line to have, so he fought hard, but unfortunately it wasn't going to be enough as Michael Casey takes over first place. And then not sure what happened to the 97, but he slipped back a couple spots because the 15 of TJ Ivy moved himself all the way up into second place. So now once again, it is the 6 and the 15 and first and second, just reverse order this time. This is the 72. That was close. Scott Henderson had some issues getting back up on the track there. Got close to the leaders, but he's got the Home Depot thing pointed in the right direction again as the 98 of Jason Chrisman, your final spot in the top 5, goes on by. Certainly looks a little bit better than he did earlier on in the race. Been that thing in the inside wall in the backstretch, ripped off the front end, but he just threw that thing in the washer, threw a couple Tide Pods in there, and that thing is all nice and clean again.
And just bring it down, pop a pod, you're good to go. All cleaned up.
Well, Michael Casey out front, and it looked like he was going to stretch out his lead here a little bit, but TJ Ivy starting to find a bit of a groove here, and he is reeling that 6 in. It was out to about 7/10 of a second. It's now down in half. It is down to 0.35 seconds and getting smaller as the 15 is on the charge here in these final 50 laps. They have broken away from the rest of the field about 1.7 seconds back to Zane Bierman in third. Matthew Radford now looking to get back up there and battle with Bierman for that third position. As we're right on board here with Radford. And hopefully everyone out there doesn't get motion sickness while we're riding on board.
That's a bomb. Just kind of float and see the nose is kind of bopping up and down there a little bit.
You see even the sparks coming off with the cars bottoming out, going through the corners. But good battle here for third. Another battle back in the back of the pack with our in-race reporter Doug Ivy and Dale Garner. No, actually, it's Dale Garner and Scott Henderson, I believe. No, I was right. Doug Ivy trying to hold off Dale Garner Jr. right now for the last spot in the top 10. As we get down to the last 35 laps of this race, the 31 now looking to the outside here of the 85. They're going to make the pass here, at least get alongside. Not going to make the pass yet. We're going to set them up for a run off the corner, but not going to happen quite yet. Ivy holds on to the final spot in the top 10. But nice little green flag run here for the drivers. It's getting close here once again at the front. Now only a 10th and a half separates Casey and Ivy for the top spot. They're not too far behind this battle for the top 10. But the 15 is on the move. He wants to get back to the front. He wants his first win of the season.
Yeah, just a tough break. So not just tonight. Been throughout the races here. 15 getting good runs and just not being able to complete them. So, it's awesome to be fast. It's just a little bit of luck and, to finish them out to get to the end. So 15 might be showing signs here, at least getting in the booth tonight, possibly track that 6 down and get around for a win here. Still got plenty of racing remaining as we're on lap 119 of 150, so it's a 32 laps. So when I get this one by, they'll be on lap number 120.
Well, it's kind of amazing when you take a look at the point standings, and really it's only 2 people in the top 9 that have a better average finish than they do an average start. You look at Michael Casey, he's your points leader. His average start 4th place, average finish 2nd. You go to Bradley Worley in 2nd place in the points, not here tonight, but average start 10th place, average finish in 6th. And everybody's the same thing. They have a better average finish than their start. The only difference is Jason Chrisman, average start 3rd place, average finish in 4th, but average finish in 4th is going to get you up there in the points, and that's why he's in 3rd. And then you go back to TJ Ivey, the only other one in the top 9. His average start 4th place. He's starting on the 2nd row within those first 2 rows, with his average finish in 9th. So it's just getting those breaks to go his way throughout the race, and looking to try and make his own breaks here, trying to get to the inside of the 6 through 1 and 2. Not going to happen this time by. But the 15, again, he's looking like he may have the car to beat here, but he's got to make a pass to do it.
Yeah, and this is the time to practice, and the experience comes into play, how to do it, how to get it done cleanly. It's not all about always having the fastest car. You need to be able to handle traffic. And right now, the 15 learning that right now, and we always say that high rating really doesn't mean much. It does mean something. I don't know how much officials that these drivers do, but looking at the high rating, Michael Casey listed as a almost 2,900 high rating. TJ Ivey rated as a almost 1,800 high rating. So about 800 points, or almost 1,000 points separating these 2 drivers as far as iRacing rating goes. And in that 1,000 iRating could be the area where a driver is learning his racecraft, how to set up another driver, how to make a pass cleanly. Now, a lot of that goes out the window when maybe the drivers just do league racing. So that's how you can't tell, or we say iRating doesn't mean anything, because Carl and myself, we don't do officials. I did one the other day just for fun, and it was a lot of fun. But it was at Road America in the LMP2. But I gained a couple iRating, but it was only a couple. It wasn't something I could do. I could do 2, 3, 4, 5 races a day, 5 times a week, and then your points can go up. So we're probably sitting lower as far as iRating goes than what we should be, because we usually just partake in special events or in these races itself. So, but either way, we're winding down here. We're under 25 laps to go. Michael Casey still has the lead over that 15 of TJ Ivey. And so, does he have the car? Does he have the talent? Can he make it around? Michael Casey here in the final laps. Jason Chris was sitting in P, number 3, and number 98. We talked about his good starts, and or is it the other way around? Yeah, good starts and decent finishes. Sitting right here up there in the top 3 right now. Chris Mackey, I believe Mackey's new. I don't know if we've seen him out here yet before, but out there sitting in a good P number 4. Zane Bierman has fallen back to P number 5 after running up front there. Matthew Jordan back there in 6th. Had a pretty good run there in the Kmart number 23. Paul Helms and his rusted tin can sporting around here at P number 7, up 3 spots from the start. Matthew Radford, even though we've seen him in the lead, he's still up 5 spots from his start position, sitting in 8th. Justice Spangler is going to be the first car a lap down in P number 9, and then Douglas Ivey And at number 85 is going to sit in P number 10 at the moment. Scott Henderson is in 11th. Dale Garner Jr. in 12th. Wayne Inyards in 13th. And at number 21, Pepsi Machine. Kurtz is, I believe, called it for the night, and so is Hartman. So, pretty good field tonight. Doing a nice green flag run here towards the end of this race.
Yeah, I think what we've seen for a while there from the front was TJ Ivy was the faster car, but the defense, you can play so good defense here at Rockingham by kind of running that middle to high line, because that's really where you want to be to make the pass. But the defense has broken, and TJ Ivy has broken through the defense. He has gotten to the lead here around Michael Casey, hoping upon hope that this thing goes green the rest of the way, because it seems like he's again got the car to beat here tonight. We got about 20 laps remaining in this race. He's got about half a second lead, as it looks like we get another battle back there for 5th and 6th, as Matthew Scruffy Jordan now makes his way around Zane Bierman. And at 5, not sure if he's got some issues with it or what the case is, but after being in the lead, he is slipping back and slipping back fast. Now back to 6th position right now, as bouncing off the wall. And like Jimmy said, he bounced off the wall just the wrong way at the wrong time. You'd be finding yourself with a meatball and having to bring that thing into pit lane.
Meatballs, Douglas Ivy just picked up one.
Yeah, you can see that front end not looking too well, and he's going to have to bring the 85 into pit lane to get that thing repaired. And that looks like he's what he's going to do right now is he's going to dip it down into pit lane late here. But out front, TJ Ivy is starting to pull away little by little out to, was 0.7 seconds, now it's back to 0.6. It's kind of yo-yoing a little bit, but you can see the gap certainly a lot bigger than it was when Michael Casey was in the lead. And TJ Ivy looking to maybe maybe turn what arguably was probably his worst race of the season, just getting involved in everything here tonight to possibly a top step on the podium.
I mean, whatever you can do with your worst races, you know how it's going to affect the rest of your season. I wish, I'm pretty sure TJ would wish he could get back the previous 7 races. So here we are on, I believe we are on, yeah, I think it's race number 8 here, as they still have a few more to go on the season. But yeah, looking good so far. TJ finally looking to wrap this thing up. 15 laps to go for the 15 car.
Yeah, this race here, after the completion, will put us 2/3 of the way through the season. This is race number 8 out of 12. We still have Bristol, Indy, Michigan, and Kentucky coming up for the final 4 races here on the season, as some pretty good ones here and some tracks that they can really open up on. And maybe Bristol next week, kind of the last one that can get maybe a little sketchy and a little bit where you have to pay attention to what's going on around you. Then you can open it up a little bit at Indy. Certainly Michigan, you can have as many wide there as you want to. And then Kentucky, a pretty good one to finish off on. But Kentucky, we've seen, can get a little bit hairy on that front stretch. But right now, nothing hairy about the lead for TJ Ivy, as we're getting close to 10 laps to go here. He's got about a 9/10 of a second lead. It's getting bigger every lap by here. He's starting to pull away from Michael Casey. Jason Chrisman in 3rd, but he is about 7 seconds behind second place right now. It's pretty much a 2-horse race at the front, pending any kind of late cautions here, late race heroics. And then Chris Mackey doing a good job here in his debut for 191 Motorsports, running up there in 4th place. Not too far behind Jason Chrisman. Oh, actually, no, sorry, that's another orange car. That is the Home Depot car. Mackey actually is about 4 seconds behind Jason Chrisman. Matthew Scruffy Jordan in there for your top 5, doing a good job there. Kind of in a race of his own. He's got 6 seconds in front of him, 4 seconds behind him to Zane Bierman, as not sure what happened here to Bierman on the back half of this race. It was too many brushes with the wall, but the 5 has slid back now to 6th place. Matthew Radford, kind of the same situation. It seemed like he was going to be up there in the mix for a chance here tonight, but not going to happen the way it stands right now. With Spengler harder than a wall. And it looks like maybe Zane Bierman maybe bringing it in here as well. I don't know how.
Black ham meatballs on Bierman and Spengler.
I was going to say, I don't know how Spengler survived that one. The car looks fine, but we're going to have a caution flag, and we'll see what brought this one out here. As it looks like Jason Crispin may have been involved in this one. Oh, this is not going to feel good.
Ooh, spin cycle.
And that's what makes it. Well, he went from the spin cycle to tumble dry, apparently, as he is gonna go rolling down through turns 3 and 4. That was 2 extremely hard impacts there, and really nothing the 72 of Anderson could do there. It's gonna bring us under a late race caution, and that is not what TJ Ivey wanted to see. He's gonna be back on level playing field now with the 6 Michael Casey. He's got to hope that he can just get out in front of Casey here from the pit stop. But we'll take a look back at this one here one more time, and maybe hop on board here with the 72. As this was certainly not pretty, and Scott Henderson probably seeing the 98 down there on the bottom.
And we'll
got to see him up close and personal. You can see the panic just in the steering wheel as soon as he got right to him. No place to go, though, for the 72. And he's going to have to crab up the thing back in.
Crispin would be being carried out in the infield. I mean, wow.
Yeah, he's going to need a trip to the infield care center, and hopefully he can pass concussion protocol after that tow back to pit lane. But you see the front end of that 72 is certainly wrecked pretty bad as well, and may need to get some 2x4s from Home Depot, just fix the front of that thing. But we're going to see what this thing has in store, as the 23 Matthew Scriffy Jordan stayed out from pit lane on the first time by, but he decided to bring it in, and now it looks like not sure what. Oh, that's why, because we're not live.
Oh.
As I wonder what's going on with their pitting again. But no, so Matthew Scruffy Jordan not pitting on the first time by, but he ended up coming in on the second time by, and it's going to turn the lead over to the 2 drivers that we've probably seen the most here tonight. That's the 15 of TJ Ivey, the 6 of Michael Casey. TJ Ivey choosing that inside line. We've seen it being a bit of a pain for some of these drivers to get the power down. Now he's got some fresh tires along with the 6. Can he get a good enough jump to take the lead into turn number 1? You kind of want to have a bit of an advantage, so you can maybe slide up in turn number 1 and take that top lane away. We'll see how it works out. The 9 of Chris Mackey looking to get a podium on his debut, and now the 97 of Matthew Radford having some fresh life as well, up in 4th place. Back to the restart zone, the 15 back on the loud pedal, and it's the 6 of Michael Casey that is not going to get the restart. That thing spun directly to the side. You see even trying to get on the gas or to take it away. That thing turned sideways fast, and not sure. I think Chris Mackey, unfortunately, may have gotten a piece of that as well. We'll take a look back here at the restart. Casey trying to time it, gets on the pedal, and it just goes straight to the right. And it looks like the 9 of Mackey had it as well. He didn't get a piece of it. He did it himself and slid down to the inside. Luckily for the rest of the field, they will make it on by both of these cars. But the 6 and the 9, not exactly doing what they want to do here late in the race, and this could possibly set us up for a green-white checker depending on how quickly we get through these caution laps. But the 6 is going to have some repairs to get done before that.
Yeah, after having a good run, obviously the 6 taking their wounds here tonight, and just the kind of icing on the cake for that one, Carl. Just a spin there, and just kind of just shows you how much power is in these cars and how hard it is to keep them under control. And it is, as hard as you want it. Like oh, you just press this little fake pedal that's on a spring, and it's depending on how big the spring is, how much tension it is, and you try to get it going, and it just spins. Like the power just spins the wheels, and it's really a fine line, and that's why people spend so much money on trying to get as much realism as possible. I'd have to say, like, I got some magic haptics that go on the pedals, and it's not Simagic's software, that Iracing software that simulates the tire slip, for spinning the tires like that. It's through SimHub, and if you set it up correctly, you can actually feel that. So, when you press on the gas, and after you hit, like, say, 10%, whatever, and if your tires start slipping, something's generated through the software in iRacing that it says, hey, your tires are spinning. So you'd be able to modulate that with your foot a little bit better if you knew that was there. So these are little things that are kind of in play, or that can be used to help you get better. And they're not even a very expensive item. They just come out, I think, with a light version or something, so they're not as strong. The original ones they came out with, those things, I think if I turned them all the way up, Carl, it'd probably bounce my foot off the pedal. they rattle something fierce. They'll rattle the whole rig, like rattle my head. So it's pretty atrocious how much movement comes out of these little haptics. So I'm down there constantly, at least once a month. Well, if I was drive every day, probably be like once a week. Be down there tightening all the bolts and screws on my pedals so they don't fall off because they're inverted. But we're getting ready to go back to the Go Green here, and TJ Ivy up front.
Certainly the drivers tomorrow night for the Hold Your Brakes Academy are going to have to make sure everything is battened down, because they got the All-Star race tomorrow night at the Irwindale Figure 8, including the jump there from the 97 of Matthew Radford. Kind of the same thing that Michael Casey just had up into the wall, and that thing may be hurting pretty bad. But how about this? How about the comeback from the 5 of Zane Bierman? He is now challenging for the lead into 3. Didn't have it quite there. He's going to back out and go at it again, but the 5 back up into the mix 100% as they'll head off into 1 and 2. TJ Ivy with the lead. And he's going to stretch out now. Maybe the 15 had a little bit of an issue, but we are heading into turns 3 and 4. The 15 is going to hold them off, finally get his first win, finally crack through. TJ Ivy, your winner here. Zane Bierman, a heck of an effort to try and get up there, try and make the pass. He had maybe an inch in front of him for a second, but Ivy's going to get it done. And how about our third place? Talked about him here and there, kind of hanging in that top 5 for a lot of the night. Matthew Scruffy Jordan going to bring it home in third place. Chris Mackey spun it on the second last restart, got himself back up to inside the top 5, finishing in 4th place. Paul Helms, just rough looking paint scheme and all, doesn't matter. He got the thing up in the 5th. That rough paint scheme wasn't holding them back arrow-wise at all. Got him up into 5th place here at the end. Matthew Radford, could have had a chance maybe at the win after it was looking like he was having a rough race. Well, he ended up finishing with a rough race, unfortunately. Spun the tires a little bit on the last restart. Sent him back there. He's going to finish in 6th. Michael Casey, involved in the previous one, he's going to finish in 7th. But that was a heck of a finish, and you got to give it to the 15 finally cracking through.
Yeah, 15 finally getting through. Just to run through the rest of the field before we get to talk to our winners. They're in 8th place is Justin Spengler, and number 28, Douglas Ivy, said what he did what he said he was going to do, right around where he started. So finishing in 9th spot, only down 1 spot. So good job there, Doug, on a pretty rough and bumpy track. Scott Henderson finishes in 10th. Wade Inyard, shout out to the number 21, finishing in P number 11, up 3 spots. Jason Crispin, just a bad ending to a rough race there for Crispin, finishing in 12th. Dale Garner Jr. still out there, Carl, still just looking at the chat, glancing through, he's still out there driving one-handed. So driving one-handed at Talladega, get it. Start driving around one-handed here at the Rock, ouch. So rough run there for the 31. But
he mentioned in the Discord chat that he had to stop, that he was having too much pain in his hand, and that's understandable if you had 2 hands on the wheel here at Rockingham.
Yeah, so just a shout out there. I mean, we really appreciate your tenacity and willing to get out here and do what you love to do, and it really shows. We appreciate you being out there, buddy. Hopefully your hand gets better, but don't do anything to prolong the healing process. So we'll see you back out here. We're not going anywhere. A few more races to go for the season, but Richard Hartman will finish in P number 15. Obviously, shout out to our steward down there doing the heaviest of lifting here tonight, Daniel Pinkston, and then number 22.
Yeah, I want to send a shout out real quick again to our series sponsors, Kim's Cups and More and One Vision EMS and Transport, and then our race sponsor, Hoffinger and Krone Heating and Cooling. But let's get our top three in here. They certainly had to work for it here tonight. It was not easy for any of the drivers just to survive the track here. I know Bristol coming up next week is the last great Coliseum. This is the second last greatest Coliseum, because this thing was rough, and I know it's the Thunder Alley down the backstretch. This thing was the Thunderdome here tonight. But third place finisher here tonight is going to be the 23 of Matthew Scruffy Jordan. Matt, you kind of held a pretty good car for the most part there tonight. You were up there in kind of around the top 5 for most of the night, so not too far off pace. Maybe a little bit of help there at the end, which you got from these drivers spinning their tires. So I got to ask, how your race went altogether, how you feel it went, and how those restarts were for you.
Carl, I think I was babying it a lot. Like, I was just tiptoeing into, in second gear, and just trying to just get the tires to engage so I can actually get some momentum going. And I was telling Justin Spengler I was spinning in fourth gear coming to that last restart. So yeah, it was definitely a up and down race. I was back there mixing it up a little bit with the guys back there towards the back, and I wore my tires down pretty good there, and yeah, I was just trying to survive mainly. It's just so happened that a third place just kind of plopped in my lap.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Mike Casey or if it's Daniel that sets up these sessions here, but I mean, it's Rockingham is tough enough if you got a ton of grip out there. This track temperature being 113 here tonight, I certainly didn't help you guys out at all.
Oh no, it was definitely definitely really spicy. I'm telling you, man, whenever I say I'm tiptoeing, I was barely in the throttle, just trying not to spin.
Well, listen, I mean, this is a track that I mentioned in the pre-race. It's one that you're probably racing the track as much, if not more, than your other competitors out there, and it's one that you really need to focus on surviving out here tonight.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a lot of Darlington. You're not racing each other, you're racing the track. So, it is what it is.
Absolutely. Well, you get it in here into the podium. You get to get up here and talk to us as well. So it's a double bonus when you get that podium here tonight. But it was not easy for you. So congrats on the top 3 here tonight. We'll see if you can do it again next week at Bristol. But before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
My wife and my baby girl there in the living room right now watching me, and my mom and dad at home. My grandpa, Papa Jordan, he's still doing really good. Just letting y'all know. Good. Just taking it day to day. Thank you for the prayers. Thank you for shouting me out and everything. And want to thank Kim's Cups and More, and I'm sorry, I can't think of the other one right now. I'm flustered. And Douglas Ivy for making my paint scheme. I had the Lake Speed paint scheme on here from his first win at Darlington, which is kind of cool. But he's from Mississippi, and so am I. So yeah, it was pretty cool to have his paint scheme on there and bring it to top 3. And also you guys for putting on a great show for us. And I enjoy going back to work on Mondays and being able to watch it on my phone and just kind of see what all happens, what I don't see.
Yeah, well, make sure you can get up for Monday morning. You probably have the shakes just getting out of your room here tonight from what Rockingham does to you after you get out of here. Is nice and rough and bumpy here for you guys. So congrats on the third place here. We'll see you next week at Bristol. See if we can talk to you again.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Jimmy. Y'all have a good one.
Sure.
You too, buddy. As your third place finisher here tonight, the 23 of Matthew Scruffy Jordan. Second place tonight, not without giving it one last Hail Mary effort, is going to be the 5 of Zane Bierman.
Zane! Jimmy Carl up the boot. Cappy.
How are you guys?
Hey, pretty good. Hey, one heck of a race, kind of up and down for you here tonight, as it seems to be the normal here. You find yourself up to the front, you find yourself in the back, find yourself up the front, you find yourself in the back. Tonight, finishing up here in P number 2. So, kind of give us a rundown on how everything was. We know how rough and tough and bumpy this track actually is.
Yeah, it's crazy to drive. Obviously, this is one of probably the hardest track, aside from Bristol, that we're gonna see. And even that one's not hard. It's just tough to keep it on in a straight line. But like you said, fell back and forth a little bit, up and back in the order. Find myself, fighting, going a lap down just like I did last week, and somehow make it back up to the front thanks to a caution. With fresh tires and a couple laps to go, it's anybody's game.
Yeah, it's one thing to have them sometimes as a driver, obviously when you're sitting in a position, whether you're in the front, especially if you're in the front, like, can we just stay green, please? Like, I'm gonna get a good finish, But then obviously the late cautions bring things all together, really spice things up for the fans out there, and it looked like it really wasn't each other. It wasn't the drivers really getting into each other tonight. It was the drivers not being able to maintain the traction or on the restart to finish this thing out. So how was those final cautions restarts for the number 5?
Well, I mean, you guys saw yourself, the restarts were kind of a gamble. And even I was talking to Jason right before the final one, and then he was like, I got some pressure on me now. And I was like, the pressure's not behind you, pressure's underneath you. Don't eat that wall. And I might have jinxed him a little bit. I felt bad about that after we took the green, but I made something good on that on the final lap. Thought I might have had a little bit of something for TJ, but he got a killer good entry into turn 3 on that restart lap, and that broke the momentum just enough that he could stretch it out for the finish. So congratulations to him and Scruffy both.
Yeah, great finishes by all the drivers around you, but you got to give yourself credit as well. Obviously, from CRN and everybody out there, I always want to say congratulations on a great finish. Overcoming all the obstacles, the challenges, and everything you guys had to deal with. So, good finish here tonight with a P number 2. So again, congratulations, and we'll give you some time for any shout-outs before we let you get out of here in that number 5.
Well, yeah, I'll thank my wife for letting me miss supper again this Sunday. I think my mom last week. And I don't think she finished the race, so I'm not sure if she knows I won yet, but I'll give her another shout out in case she comes across this one. And thanks for having me in the booth.
Hey, anytime. It's good to talk to you, Zane. Again, congratulations, and go celebrate and go get some food.
All right.
I'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Is your second place finisher here tonight, the 5 of Zane Bierman? Yeah, roller coaster type of race for sure for the 5, but had a chance there, but did not get the best of the winner here tonight, the 15 of TJ Ivey. TJ, I guess first thing you got to say is you finally get to break through and get up here on the top step of the podium.
Dude, yeah, it's been one thing after the other, either missing pit lane or going laps down or just, getting into weird situations.
Yeah, I mean, you've had a rough up and down season, I guess is probably the easiest way to put it. You've had speed pretty much everywhere we've gone, and you've maybe had a chance at probably 4 or 5 wins here on the season, but just anything and everything not going your way. Here tonight, arguably your worst race. I mean, it seemed like you got caught in 5 or 6 of the 7 cautions here tonight. Almost every caution, it seemed like you were involved in one way or another. What's that do to you? What's that do to the mindset going into the back half of this race?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was a long race. This being throwback weekend, definitely should have been in the city Chevrolet car, because I hit just about everything but the pace car out there.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just trying to keep my head down. I wasn't really looking at anything except for who was in front of me. I knew it was a tough track for people, and the tires fall off really quick. And if you don't take care of your stuff, people are going to start going backwards. So that's kind of what I focus on.
So speaking of going backwards, 2 restarts left. You had Michael Casey on your outside there. Seemed like the outside line was getting the better restarts just about all night. So I was kind of worried about, if you were going to be able to get a good enough restart on him. He ends up getting the worst restart, spinning it, putting it into the outside wall. Then the last restart, you got the 97 on the outside. He does the same thing, and it keeps it green because he kept it straight. but you had to feel like, once that 97 got a little sideways, it was yours to just kind of walk away and win. And all of a sudden, that 5 creeps up on the inside on the backstretch.
Yeah, I didn't tell Zane this. I missed a shift coming off the start there, just a split second, but kind of killed my momentum going into 1, and then he had a real good run in 1 and 2 going down the backstretch. But 3 and 4 was where I was kind of making up my time, so I was just kind of trying to maintain till we got there, and it worked out for me.
Well, that it did, and congratulations on finally breaking through, getting your first win on the season. It looks like points-wise, it's going to keep you right where you are in ninth position, but it's got to feel good to finally crack through here in race number 8 of the season. We still got 4 more races to go. Is there any tracks on the remaining schedule that you're kind of looking forward to maybe crack through and get win number 2?
Yeah, Indy and Michigan are real good for me. I think, at least, Indy's very similar to kind of like Pocono and stuff, and I thought I ran decent there, minus missing that shift. And then, Michigan, just kind of wide open all over the place. So looking forward for those. Bristol's going to be fun as well. So.
I'm starting to sense a theme here. I'm missing these shifts. Maybe we have to just get you on that auto clutch or something like that, just to keep you in there. But either way, doesn't matter what you did here tonight. And I guess. I mean, we very rarely tell people, not to watch the entire broadcast, but maybe just go ahead and skip to the last 10 minutes of this race and skip over all that pain in the first 90% of this race and just watch the end and finally enjoy your first win of the season. But before we get you out of here, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, shout out to my brother. He did the Dale Earnhardt 96 Japan car for me for the AC Delco. And then, the sponsors of this channel or the league, Kim Cups and More, One Health and Officer, and then, Mike and the boys at 191. They do a great job every week kind of keeping us in line and making this fun for us. I'm not a big I haven't done a lot of official stuff since I got back into iRacing, so doing this league stuff is pretty fun. Then you guys as well. These broadcasts are awesome and make us feel like superstars on Sunday night. So, yeah, we appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys out there as well, and congrats again on your win. We'll see if you can keep the momentum going next week at Bristol.
Thanks, fellas.
That's your winner here tonight, the 15 of TJ Ivy. Finally getting it done here, and it wasn't without some bumps along the way. No pun intended here when it comes to Rockingham. But we are going to head again to the Last Great Coliseum next week, as the world's fastest half mile is going to play host to round number 9 here for the 191 Motorsports, and we get one of our 4 night races of the year, as we'll be under the lights at Bristol for 150 laps, and we'll see what the drivers can do over there. It's not as bumpy, but it is not without its pain. That is going to do it for myself and Jimmy for tonight, but again, we got plenty of racing action the rest of the week. Certainly tune in to tomorrow night. That's going to be a fun one with the Hold Your Brakes Academy, as they have a little all-star race at the Irwindale Figure 8 with the street stocks and the jump. So get to enjoy a little bit of fun, and I'm sure some laughs as well. So maybe not your typical racing here on CRN. Well, maybe a little bit more of a demo derby, but it's going to be a fun one before we kick off the rest of the racing throughout the week. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in here again. If you haven't done so, hit that like, hit that subscribe, get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. But for myself and Jimmy from the Rockingham Speedway, we'll see you at the track.